Howdy now, Murdercat back. This week we're doing, once again, another talk video. Who would have thought? This week we're going to be talking about artist bewares. I feel like this community has the biggest issue with artist bewares, but they're mostly just in any like commission-based community that gets like art. So, for those who don't know what artist bewares are, you should know what they are because they're very helpful. There is a live journal, which I will link. It is called literally Artist Bewares. So this journal is set out. It's mostly community ran, but they do have like moderators and stuff like that. And it's essentially the Yelp of the commission world. If you have a bad experience with the artist, or if you have a bad experience with a customer, you can detail your entire experience with them so people in the future do not have the same experience. So that's the rundown of them. When do you need to write them? Right now, the furry community is in a very big ousting. We're taking out the trash, so to say, and a lot of people take it as negativity. But I think it's that we're just finally fed up putting up with a bunch of junk that should be in our community, and we're trying to take out the trash. So a lot of people have been like, oh, the furry fandom's so negative, there's so much drama. And it's like, but it's like, I'm not going to say it's good drama, but it's good that it's happening and that we're not just being complacent, letting terrible people being terrible people. So artist bewares are being like actually used and actually utilized, actually like they're a thing again, which I'm really happy for because there are scammers out there. There are people that are just trying to just get a bunch of money and screw people over. I'm not going to say it's like everybody, but there are people out there, and especially for new furries, I had several issues while I was new to the fandom where I kind of got ripped off and stuff like that, and it's really discouraging. It makes you not want to be in the fandom. It makes you not even want to buy art anymore. You like don't trust anybody. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna get scammed, and then I have to go through PayPal's giant fun ordeal trying to get your money back, if that even works. I mean, buyer protection is a lot better now than what it was, but it's still an ordeal where it would just be nice just to be, hey, I want this commission, here's your money, here's your art, goodbye, thank you. So, when do we take them seriously? Like I said, right now we're in a big ousting, and I feel like in the middle of it, people are throwing out their petty feelings. So, take them with a grain of salt, do some research. If the person has just one artist beware, and it's from like 2 years ago, I would take it with a grain of salt. If they have 3 of them over the course of maybe a couple months, then I would take it seriously. So it's kind of your best judgment. So the biggest thing you want to look for is proof. That is what makes or breaks a lot of these, because like I said, sometimes they're just, oh, this person took 5 months to get my commission done and they weren't friendly with me during it and they just gave it to me and they didn't thank me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, is that really necessary? Like, you're just kind of wasting our time. So it's a bunch of like the he said, she said, and a lot of the times when people like break up friendships and stuff like that, you'll see some of those too, where it's like, we were friends, but then they screwed me over, and now you should hate them. And it's like, that stuff kind of gets put in there, so you gotta kind of do some of your own research. So while the live journal itself, they also have a Twitter, is very, very helpful, very resourceful, you also have to do a little bit of work yourself. Maybe like just check out their accounts, see how often they're posting commission openings, see if they're actually posting art, when the last time they posted art. That's also another good thing to do. But anyway, we're gonna mostly focus on artist bewares. In relation, customer bewares, those don't show up as much, but there are people like, there was this one guy that, oh my god, he like owed over $5,000 to people. It was like he was promising plane tickets to conventions, he was promising room and board for like this animation. Like, he owed so much money, and I'm like, how do you let that happen? Why do you see that and be like, oh, it's probably not real? It happens a lot, and there's a lot of people who, like I said, we're finally starting to get the hang of artist bewares, I guess you would so to say, kind of filtering out the petty stuff. So, customer bewares, basically the same thing, just flip-flopped. Hey, they didn't pay me, or hey, they did a chargeback even though I gave them their art, or hey, I took 2 days extra to ship it and apparently now they're mad at me, and or they were really rude, just stuff like that. Or like sometimes, I mean, it's not very often, but if it's like sexual harassment or stuff like that, like just basically just like letting you know, like, hey, be wary of this person. So they work both ways. It's more so about the commissioner, or more so about the person that's doing the commissions than getting the commission. So there's a fun little checklist that I made of what you should go through before you should make an artist beware. First off, did you exhaust every option of communication? Did you try talking to them? Did you try, like, and this isn't just like, hey, I sent you a message at 8 a.m. and it's now 12 p.m. and you haven't responded. A lot of artists have day jobs. A lot of artists are nocturnal. You don't know their work schedule. They are not there to respond to you 24/7. Just because you saw them retweet something 20 minutes ago doesn't mean they're ignoring you. A lot of people who have this as their job have set hours that they respond to things. Otherwise, they would be responding to your emails literally all day, and how exhausting would that be? You don't do your job all day. If your work calls you when you're not on the clock, do you answer it? Probably not. So keep that in mind. Let them respond. A lot of people in their terms and services say, give me, depending on how busy they are, they'll say 24 hours or 48 hours. So respect that. Moving on. This is a really big one that has like made me angry, and that's when you send the sketch. The sketch is the most important part of the commissioning process, because this is when you tell them, hey, I don't like how that looks. Not after it's all lined and shaded and you go, hey, could you actually make the tail bigger? The sketch phase, that's when you need to be vocal. Please be vocal. Don't go to your friends like, oh man, look at this, it's not really how I want it. Talk to the person. They will respect you. They will appreciate it. They want your honesty. The work in progress shots that you get sent, you need to be vocal. And if you have an issue with it at the end, then that's kind of your own fault, because you didn't speak up, and that's not their fault, that's your fault. So keep that in mind as well. Third, this one's kind of awkward because life happens. So let's say, for instance, we're just gonna make up a scenario. Let's say the person you commissioned went to the hospital, they went to the ER, they like had some, like, they blacked out or something. That's just what we're gonna say. So they're not on any of their accounts for a couple days because they're in the hospital. Now they get out of the hospital, but they don't say where they went, they don't say what happens, and now it looks like to everyone they just kind of vanished for a couple days. It's okay to be like, hey, what's going on, if it's been like a week or something like that. Normally, though, artists will say, hey, I was in the hospital, give me some time to recuperate. So if you are getting life updates, like people move, people have losses in their life, people have medical issues, like if they're keeping you updated in their life on things that will impact their work, like for instance taking off holidays, or maybe they're just having a vacation, keep that in mind. Don't add that to the time that you've waited. So like for instance, like I said, going back to our scenario with the person going to the hospital, let's say they're in the hospital for a week and then they get out, they take a couple days to like get back to real life, and you're like, hey, it's 2 weeks, where's my commission? No, it's been 1 week. keep it in mind, be respectful. People have lives outside of their jobs. It's just like if you were to call off work. With artists, they can't really do that, because if they call off work, they get accused of like, oh, you're just sitting around playing video games today and not working on my art. You know, like, just keep that in mind. This is their job. If you have a 9-to-5 job, this is their 9-to-5 job. At 6 o'clock, you're relaxing. At 6 o'clock, they're allowed to relax. This kind of rolls into missed deadlines, as well as like, did their life issues affect it? When they miss deadlines without communication, that is 100% grounds to be frustrated. But if everything is communicated with you and the deadline's missed, they try to like, hey, I'll do you something extra because I missed your deadline, or they offer you something in... Like, a lot of artists will do that. A lot of artists like, hey, I threw in an extra sketch, or hey, I did you an icon. A lot of artists are really good about, if they were late, adding on to things. Like, let's say you got a colored sketch, they'll just upgrade it to a full finished piece. So if they're doing that, you don't really have grounds to call them out on a missed deadline, because they made it up to you. They tried to compromise, you know? So that's also something to keep in mind. Don't be like, hey, they missed my deadline, but I did get a free sketch. And it's like, I mean, life happens. Lastly, this kind of falls on you. How quick were you to pay? Like, let's say they post a tweet. Hey, I have 5 slots. Who wants some? You comment. You're the second person to comment. Hey, I want a slot. They're like, cool, send me the money and I'll start. And it takes you over 2 days to send the money. That right there, they've never started. That right there, those 2 days it took you to pay. And most people, if you don't pay within 48 hours, they'll drop your slot. So if it takes you over those 2 days, or it takes you, hey, I'm gonna wait till payday to pay you, your commission's not getting started until you pay. So do not count that time. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I waited 3 weeks for my commission. It's like, yeah, but it took you a week to pay for it. So technically you only waited 2 weeks, because that first week was your own fault. If they send you works in progress, hey, how does this look? And it takes you 2 days to respond, that's 2 days they could have been working on your art just because you didn't check your email. Just stuff like that, where it's like, sometimes it is your fault where it takes it longer, just because they're doing the work, just because they're doing their job. You also help it. It's a service industry. Your input is just as important to get your output. Then, this is where it starts getting into like the kind of drama stuff. Did you, in every earnest way possible, try to handle it before going public? As soon as you go public, that's where you lose control of the situation. As soon as you post, hey, so-and-so has taken this long on my commission and I'm really tired of waiting on it, people will see that, people will comment it, people will go after them, and then that's when it just spreads like wildfire, and that's what drama is. That's why we have artist bewares, because it's for the situation while it's being handled, rather than you just posting some passive-aggressive subtweet about it, and now you've got a witch hunt on this person just because they're a couple days late on your commission or something like that. Like, don't make it public until it's in a concise, responsible, adult artist beware. Like, you can message friends, like, privately, like, hey, should I do this? Or, hey, what do you think of this? Like, that's fine. But as soon as you make it public, you will lose control of that situation. You will make it worse. I guarantee it. And did you read their terms of service? That's another thing where I know you sign up for a website and you just click yes and you just sign up for the website and you don't even know what you agreed to. I highly doubt you read the terms of service on websites. So what makes me think that you're going to read the terms of service for getting pieces of art? Because a lot of people are just like, oh, they're just drawing characters. A lot of people have terms and services where it'll say, hey, I could take up to a month to finish your commission. And if you didn't read that and you're waiting and you're like, it's 2 weeks, where's my commission? they're immediately going to know you didn't read their terms of service, which you have to agree to before you get art. So that's another thing. Read the terms of service. They're really important, especially for art. A lot of people will list things like, hey, I only work part-time on my art. I only work on it on the weekends, or I only respond on the weekends. So you're not sitting here like, I sent them a DM and they haven't responded yet. Maybe they don't use DMs. Maybe they only use emails. Read the terms of service. That is part of your job, picking this artist to do your art. In that same realm, reread the terms of service and reread all of your conversations. Everything's text-based. I mean, unless you do it vocally, which that doesn't really happen to my knowledge. It's text. It doesn't have tone. It doesn't have emotion past like emojis and stuff like that, which a lot of people don't really use emojis because they don't really read as professional. I don't mind them, but some people try to stay away from them because sometimes then people think like just the normal little like colon parentheses, people read that as like passive aggressive. So a lot of the times people try to stay away from emojis unless they're like 100% understood. But reread your interactions. Go back through. Maybe you missed something. Maybe you misread something. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding that could easily be fixed before you go and get all of these receipts and you go make this post and then you read something and you're like, crap, this all fault was mine and now I look stupid and now this person's probably mad at me for no reason because I just didn't reread things. Just take a step back. Reread it later. Like, just it's just so frustrating like with like miscommunications. Like I said earlier, especially when it comes with friends. Sometimes like there'll be a fight or this or that. That fight should not be part of your artist beware. Your friendship should not be part of your artist beware. I see that a lot. And to me, I take it less seriously because at that point, I just see it as pettiness. So like I said, reread your interactions, especially if it's with friends. Try to leave like friendliness stuff out, like, oh, since you're my friend, this or that. You know what I mean? Like it's a profession, it's a job, it's a service. You might be friends. Like I know a lot of people commission their friends, but you're not having a friend interaction, you're having a job interaction. So you should treat it professionally. And in that same note, assume the best in people. Like I said, you don't know the tones, you can't understand people through text. Assume the best. Maybe they just are really bad at expressing their emotions through text. Ask for clarification. Like, no one's gonna be mad at you if you ask for clarification instead of just snapping at them. Like, maybe they worded something weird and you read it weird and you're like, now you're mad at them when it's not even anything you should have been mad about. So just assume the best in people in all situations. You don't know what's going on in their life a lot of the times. Sometimes people don't want to talk about personal things that come up in their life. Maybe they're embarrassed of them. Maybe it's personal. Maybe it's like I said, it's like with you going to your, like if you have a day job and you go to your job, do you want to talk about like terrible things that happen? Probably not. So you try to leave it out. They're trying to keep it professional. So respect that. If they do want to talk about it, then they talk about it. If not, then as long as it's not like pushing your commission off by like months and months, then don't worry about it. It's if they don't want you to know, then you don't need to know. And finally, same category, do not harass. Do not send multiple messages. I cannot count how many times I've seen where it's like, hey, hi, how you doing? How's my art? Can I get an update? All within the same day, like an hour apart. Like they have a timer set. Like, hey, can I have another work in progress shot? Hey, how you doing today? Like, do not harass them. Give them time to do their work. You are getting a service. While PR, like personal relations, while PR is really important in this community, you also are not guaranteed a friend. You're not buying a friend, you're buying art. So if they choose to talk to you as a friend, that's cool. But some don't. Some people don't have the time to have a personal conversation and get to know you. That's not what you're paying for. You're paying for art. So also keep that in mind. Like, they're not there to have conversations with you. They're there to finish your art. If they do, cool. If they don't, then like, you're not paying for a friend, you're paying for art. So just keep that in mind. And finally, in my list, this normally for most people is a hobby. So take a step back, take a day off, take 2 days off, uninstall Twitter. Don't go on for Affinity for a day. Like, if you're really that frustrated, like, this is supposed to be a hobby. I know it's a job for a lot of people, but for the average person, it is a hobby. If it's getting you that angry, then you might need to just step back from the internet for a second and then just come back to it and then be like, oh wow, I was upset over nothing. Like, emotions can get in the way of a lot of things. They can ruin a lot of like really good relationships and stuff like that, because everything is over text and you can assume tone, you can assume a lot of things. So just assume the best in people first off, ask for clarification, be honest the entire time. Like, if you really don't like the sketch and you really want it done, maybe it might cost you more, but it would cost you way more if you told them when they give you the finished piece and you're like, I really don't like this pose. Like, that's where you're going to have issues, and that's going to be your issue, not their issue. Even if they like kind of handle it badly, it's still because it was your responsibility to speak up in the first place. So that little checklist to kind of go through anytime you're considering doing a artist beware. So to avoid drama, check into people, check their accounts, check their reputation, just ask a couple friends. Like, I know you probably have at least one friend that seems to know a lot of people in the community. Just ask around, just see how they interact with people. Like, a lot of the communities on Twitter, so I refer to Twitter a lot because that's mostly what I use, but just go on their little like tweets with replies and see how they respond to people. If they're really rude to people, they're probably going to be rude to you and you're probably going to have an issue. So take that into consideration. A lot of the times people's PR skills can make or break someone. Just because their art's good doesn't mean they have a good personality. And sometimes with bad personalities, you will have bad experiences. So keep that in mind. Just like ask around, get your own information, do a little bit of research. Normally you can just kind of trust a person and try to just go like with your gut feeling, but it always helps to do a little bit of research, especially when you're going for the more like, this isn't so much for like, let's say you're just getting a colored sketch from someone, probably not that scary to go into. But if you're getting like a full rendered, like in the $100 like reference sheet or like digital painting, that's when you kind of want to look into people and be like, okay, is this person gonna rip me off $200? That would really suck. Alright, so you went through the checklist, you've used your gut feeling, you decide, I do need to write an artist beware. The first question you should ask yourself: reporting this situation, would it benefit the community? If it's something really small and petty and you're basically wasting your time doing it, you probably don't need to. But if it's a really big ordeal and it's like a big sum of money, or this is repeated behaviors, stuff like that, like, just kind of go through in your mind, should I write this? If you have second thoughts, maybe you don't need to write it, maybe you just tell a couple people. But if you did have a really bad experience where you're out a lot of money or it's repeat behavior, you do and you should do the community a favor and write it. So how do we do that? First off, get receipts. And I'm not talking about your screen capped, I said hi and they didn't say hi back. Like, these receipts should be, and it's so hard because it's like, with receipts nowadays, it's so easy to fake things that you really have to be careful when you're looking at receipts and how you give them. Because what receipts should be are unedited proof that is in the rawest form possible. The best way to do this, and the way that you should be doing it, should be through email. Email is normally the most reliable way you can do it. because when you start going through like Twitter DMs, it's really easy to just copy their profile image and copy their writing format, and there you go, you just made a fake receipt and now you made a fake Artist Beware. So nowadays it's really hard to get raw, pure forms of receipts, but do your best. And when I say unedited, I'm not meaning like leave in your like, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing good. Like if you're having little conversations on the side that have nothing to do with it, that should be edited out. But you shouldn't edit out like something that you said that might be detrimental to the situation where it actually was your fault and you're just trying to make that person look bad. So in the same term, as a commission taker, you should keep all of your receipts as well, just for that case. Like I said, I really believe in using invoicing on PayPal. It's free, you have better control over it, it's easier to do your taxes, it's easier for your proof, etc., etc. When people are just sending you money, that's when they start getting issues. Maybe they didn't hit paying for services, now you're breaking the terms and services because you did the friends and family and stuff like that. Like, use invoices. Stop using the PayPal me link. Use invoices. Use email. Use credible forms of communication. I understand how easy it is to just use Twitter DMs, but they're so easy to fake given a situation where it'll literally be my screenshot versus your screenshot. And some people even go so far as to like take a picture in real life of the screenshot. It's like, it could still be faked, you know? Like, just because you're taking a picture of it in real life doesn't mean it's not. So, receipts, they're really important. Go about them in the best way. Keep them. Keep all of your past emails. Like, if you're using Gmail, you have like 15 gigs free to keep emails for forever. Like, and if not, then it's like $10 to buy some more. Keep your emails. Keep receipts. Keep the confirmations, keep everything, not only for yourself, but when you're taking commissions, so you have proof. The proof and the receipts are the most important thing when you're posting, especially on the live journal community, because if you don't have a lot of proof, and it's a lot of like he said, she said, and like DeviantArt notes and stuff like that, they're probably going to take your thing down and probably not take it seriously. So, have proof, have dates, have times. Make it as accurate as possible and go through with it, and keep it updated. If it's an ongoing situation, which some of them are, like some of them aren't solved yet and that's why you're posting it, keep it updated. That's one of their like really big things they're really big about. Like, keep updating it with relevant updates. But before you even consider doing this, do the courtesy of telling the person that you're going to write a beware on them. 9 times out of 10, they will immediately either offer a compromise, miraculously finish your art, or give you a refund. Give them a chance to do something first. Because having several artist bewares, if your livelihood is commission work, you can ruin them by not even giving them a chance. Like, yeah, sure, they put you out or they've done this or that, but everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes. Give them a chance to fix their problem. Now, that's not to say if it's like been something that's been going on forever, like, oh, I'll add this, oh, I'll do more, oh, it'll be okay, oh, I'll give you a refund Friday, oh, it's Friday again, next Friday. Like, when that's happening, yes, obviously that's when you go for it. But if you have not given them any ample chance to better themselves, don't write the beware yet. But if they're not giving you compromises and you tell them that you're writing the beware and their response is basically just like, go for it, then yes, do it and use everything you can to make yourself credible. Now, with receipts, as I was saying, unedited. Unedited to a point. Do not dox people over animal drawings. Do not dox their dead name. Do not dox where they live. Do not dox people over your animal drawings. Like, cut out like last names or like just the first letter and then like block out the rest, and don't use the Twitter stickers. Like, use an actual, like, everyone has Paint on their computer or some sort of device where you can block stuff out. don't dox people. That's a really, really big thing where it's like, I've seen horror stories where like their address got leaked because they like posted a picture of it and now this person's in danger. Like, you can't just up and move nowadays. Don't dox someone over your commission. That's ridiculous. You should be embarrassed if you dox people over something like this. The only time you should ever do that is if they are harming someone, and that's something completely different that has nothing to do with commission work. So, keeping outside of your emotions, being professional, especially on all public platforms, you need to handle yourself as a professional adult. Use your judgment. Do not dox people. Be truthful. Leave unnecessary details out that are just wasting people's time. If you have an active ticket on the LiveJournal, keep it updated. Keep it as detailed as possible. Like I said, dates, times, etc., so on. Like, keep it updated. If it gets solved, close the ticket. They are super big on that. Like, keep your tickets updated and close them, or they will just delete it. So keep it updated. If it's solved, say that it's solved. Say how it was solved, so people know, okay, yeah, this person had this issue, but they did solve the problem, rather than just leaving it open. Because like I said, they're really, really big on, and like I would be too, because it's not like they have a full-time team of people who are getting paid to watch over everyone's Artist Bewares. Like, it's a community service that's being done for you, so the least you can do is do your part if you're going out of your way to write an Artist Beware. Like I said, leave friendship situations out of it. Like, if I see like, oh, we were friends when it started, now we're not friends, like, that just annoys me. I'm not here for your sob story about how your friendship ended over an animal drawing. Like, keep it professional, keep it down to all of your details, and if it's something that could have been solved behind closed doors, do it. Please, for the love of God, do not bring more drama into this fandom over stupid stuff. If it was just a miscommunication that you could have just reread or something like that, like, don't hurt someone's business over a petty fight. Solve situations. Be an adult. You have to be at least 18 years old to use PayPal anyway, so I'm hoping at that age you can be able to solve an adult situation over some animal art. Like, you guys, like, I don't know how else to like say this. Like, it's the furry community. It's animal drawings. If you're really this upset over it, you need to take a step back. You need to take a break and assess your life, because unless you're losing big amounts of money or it's like some serious situation, if it was a $5 your character here that took 3 days to get done when they told you it would take 1 day and you're throwing a fit over it, stop. Get some help. I'm Michael Jordan. It's a fandom. Have fun. Come on, guys. Like, really, just have fun. I know it's a job for some people, but it's like a specialty job. You know what I mean? Like, the idea behind it is fun. The idea behind it is to be creative. It's the whole basis. It's a fandom. It's for fun. Have fun. Don't be so serious. I mean, I understand if you're losing a lot of money. Yes, that's when you be serious. But if it's something small that can be let go, let it go. Please. Stop making more drama than we need in this fandom over dumb stuff. Like, it makes the really important things more watered down and less taken seriously. And it's just annoying. I'm just tired of seeing like all this petty crap when it could have just been solved by communication, or just saying like, hey, could you switch this before you do the line work, and just stuff like that. Like, use Artist Bewares as they're meant to be used. They're being taken advantage of for petty drama, and this fandom does not need any more drama. Alright, now that we're done with all of the serious stuff, let's get into something more fun, the questionnaire. Yay! Alright, so as much as I'd love to just jump into it as fun as possible, there were some issues. This was the first questionnaire I've ever done. I did get a lot of criticism on like some of the answers not being, like, people had issues coming up with answers. The way I made it was based off of my standards of where I would feel someone would be as a furry. They were my levels. I'm not government assigning you that you're a casual. I just would think that some of the things that I put in the questionnaire, that's where I think that you would be. Now, to take with a grain of salt, let's say you are the casual level and you have a fursuit. That kind of skews the results because having a fursuit was in my devotee category. So it's like, depending on how you answer things, that's where it puts you. It's based on your answers. So, like I said, a lot of people had issues with their exact 100%, I cannot find my answer. My advice was just pick something close, because the next question is, well, why don't you edit the questionnaire and give me my answer? If I did that for every single one, I wouldn't have any results for anyone, because it would literally just be everyone has their own category. And it's not fair to the 70 plus people that took it before that had to deal with that thing. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know. It just kind of frustrated me, because it's like it was supposed to be some fun thing, and I felt like a lot of people took it way too seriously, and I just kind of wanted to go over that. I do appreciate the criticism. I felt like some of it was kind of like it could have been worded a little bit better, but I do appreciate the criticism. I will take it into account for future questionnaires, because I do plan on doing questionnaires in the future. They're fun. It's a good community-based thing. I will say that I had way more good experiences with it than I did bad, so that's good. But there were just a couple people where it's like they were like saying they were having issues like finding responses to it, and it's like, that's cool. I understand. It's not for everyone. It was just a really basic questionnaire, and sorry I spaced on some options. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. But anyway, going into it, what were the personalities that I had set? The first one, questioning. You probably found out through a coworker that stumbled across the fandom. You probably watched a YouTube video and you were like, what is this? It's probably your mom. Those are the kind of people that I expected to be in the questioning group. Newbie, you're a beginning furry. You use glomp. You use like the little triangle faces. You probably have a sparkle dog persona. You probably went through your dog phase. You want cat ears and stuff like that. Like, your stereotypical like baby furry. That was the newbie level. Casual. This was kind of where it's kind of like got mixed with comfortable. I feel like a lot of people kind of got these two mixed and matched. There's kind of a very fine line between the two of them. Casual to me was supposed to be someone that's like finally accepting they're a furry. They make a persona. They want to like get involved in the community, like, oh, it would be nice to go to a convention, or I want to go to a furry meet. Like, this is when you finally accept that you are a furry. It's not just like, I went to a convention with the tail on and I'm a cat girl, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. So like, casual was just someone who's just kind of just gotten into it, feeling their feet, paws, tails, whatever, into the fandom. It's also probably the person that throws around, it's not a fetish, it's just a fandom, and they're like super defensive about it. Now, moving into comfortable, that's where I felt the average bottom line furry was. This was someone who I considered they're finally getting commissions, like they're getting their first couple of commissions. They have either one or more persona or several furry characters, past like just a human with cat ears kind of stuff. They probably have a nice set of furry friends. They actively use furry media, like they use furry Twitter, they use Fur Affinity, they use like not like there's Furzu, like it's not like a dating site, but like it's like mostly to find people in your area kind of thing. Like, you actively search out furry material. That's where I feel like your average person is at. And finally, devotee this is the person that like, you've spent thousands of dollars in this community. You either have a fursuit, you have multiple fursuits, you have a fursuit in the works. You have probably about a gigabyte of art of your character by now. You're probably a popoofer. You probably have a name for yourself. People probably know you. That was where I placed Devotee. So, going through all of those, you can easily mix and match those. Like I said, like a casual furry standing, having a fursuit. Like, that's from here to there, and it kind of moves you around. So a lot of people kind of got mixed casual and comfortable. I expected that. I expected those to be the middle results. The casual was the most popular result. So this is as of Monday night. When I edit, I'm going to put in the actual result numbers. So as of tonight, casual is winning with a close tail end of the comfortable, average, and the other ones have a long ways to go. But despite like some of the issues that I ran into at the beginning, I had a lot of fun with this questionnaire. 71 of you, like I said, had participated in this. That's so cool. That's so many people. I was only expecting like 25. I was like telling myself, I was like, okay, if I get 25 results, then I'll cover it. But oh my god, like I got so much more. It's so exciting to have something like this is my first like community-based interaction with you guys, and I loved it. I going through all the results, seeing where people answered what and what made them what level. Like, even though like I did have some negative experiences, it was nice seeing people saying like, hey, this option would have been nice. So like in the future, I know making my questionnaires, how to like do them a little bit better, how to give like a maybe an other option rather than just doing a yes, no, maybe sort of format. Maybe incorporating different levels and trying to slim down the results, because like I said, there was a very big group of casual and average, whereas I felt like maybe we could have got more devotee or more newbie. So it was a really nice learning experience. It was a lot of fun interacting with you guys with that. I really want to do more community-based projects. So if you have any other ideas down in the comments, of course I have my own, but I'm always open to whatever you guys want to do. Let me know. Let's do some more fun stuff. Let's do more community-based stuff. Let's do videos. Let's do all kinds of fun stuff. Let's do art trades. Let's do, like, just let me know. Like, what do you guys want to do? Let me know in the comments. And other than that, I really appreciate you guys going through another week with me, and I will see you yet again next week. Bye guys.